If you're Black, age 18 to 35, and you're committed to building a different financial future from the one you grew up with, there's a chance at some point you're going to have to start paying Black tax. Unlike other taxes, there's no brackets when it comes to paying Black tax. There's no clear-cut rule for how much is too much when you start paying Black tax. So if you do not proactively set a boundary, it can very sneakily take over your future building plan. The generational wealth people speak about building, it's actually breaking generational programming. If we do not have boundaries around our own money, we will just start to create a new negative program, which is resenting our money. Irony is, the thought of saying no to Black tax feels and sounds really selfish, but it's genuinely one of the most generous things you can do for your future and for breaking generational cycles. I remember asking my therapist, how do I draw this line? Like, is the line of too much genuinely when I just don't have any more to give? Her response was a hard no. She taught me that you have to look at your needs now and look at your needs in the future to decide how much you actually have to give. That short-term thinking of just looking at your needs now and what you have now is exactly the cycles that you're trying to break. I promise you, I know this is so hard to do in practice, but without clear, predefined, proactive, not reactive boundaries, you're going to find yourself in a vicious cycle of guilt, burnout, and resentment.
I don't think parents realize how much Black tax is killing their children. Like, I'm not saying that we shouldn't help out at home, but I feel like some parents take advantage of that. I posted a video the other day and I saw comments under my video of people saying that they contribute so much money at home that they don't have anything left over for themselves. Abanye bathumela imali zabo zikaNSFAS, and I've been in that situation. But like with me, it wasn't like my NSFAS, it was my bursary money. And I couldn't do some things for myself. And I wasn't even like obligated. Okay, I was obligated eventually because it got to a point where like it was mandatory for me to like send money and like buy food, and where it felt like I was a tenant at home. But I just feel as though so many Black parents don't realize that we are still trying to like make a name for ourselves. We're still trying to build our own resources and build our own wealth so we can give back properly to them. So how are we going to do that if even like imali yethu ye bursary is taken in as fast nendoni? Like, Black tax is really killing Black people. Like, it's setting us back.
So there's a video circulating by a young lady, and she's talking about how most of us are no longer going to be sending money back home, and she's basically saying how we're speaking from a point of privilege and how we are losing our sense of community by doing so, in addition to some other points. She turned her stitches off, but I want to share my perspective. The reason why most of us are not going to be sending money back home the way our parents were doing is because the way our parents were doing it was not sustainable. It's not wrong to have a need, but it is not practical to rely on somebody to fund your life. Now, I'll always say this, when it comes to education and like medical needs, I am more than willing to, finance a family member if my finances can accommodate it. When it comes to health and education, I can do it. Particularly education. Why? Because if I'm investing in somebody's education, I know that at a point they will be able to, support themselves and get a job. So the end goal is going to help their own financial freedom. They're not going to remain dependent on me for the rest of their life. But what is happening, and as we've seen from our parents, is that they keep sending money back home to people who are just waiting for our parents' money to be able to live life. That is just not appropriate. And let's think about it even critically. If you're to calculate the money that African parents have been sending back home versus the amount of money they're putting in their own children's education fund to go to college, yeah, crickets. There are certain things that just don't make sense. And I think that this generation of Africans, we're learning, or even immigrants, we're learning how to have boundaries. You cannot give somebody else life at the expense of your own. It's just not going to work. Basically, don't give a man a fish. Teach him how to fish so he can be independent. And I think that's what the scary part is. The people receiving money back home are not interested in becoming financially independent. They are more excited at the prospect of having somebody fund their lifestyle. That is not healthy. And I think that us saying no is completely in our right because, again, you are having African parents sending thousands of dollars back home to family members, yet their own kids they don't even have a college fund for. Talk to any financial advisor, and they're going to tell you that you don't have wisdom. You are financially illiterate by doing so. All in all, we are having boundaries, and that is going to annoy the people who want to be dependent on us, and that's not our problem.
Story time. So this is a topic that is really, really close to my heart because it's something that I have experienced and I have known people who have also experienced it. Black tax, like I said, is something that is really breaking apart our families. I think it was meant to bring people together. Ubuntu. That's what we knew. We grew up seeing our parents, our family members coming together to aid each other when times were tough, because coming from an immigrant family, coming from an African country, we know like our governments just don't give us a net to fall on. There's no social net. Your family, your loved ones are your social net. And growing up, we saw that when someone was sick, people came together to raise funds from them. When someone was going to school, someone was going for further studies, the community came together to assist them. We saw family members coming to live with us, people who are sick, people who, young teenagers who got pregnant. They came to our house and they had their babies until they were strong enough to start their own life. So it's something that we grew up seeing. But the problem is our parents are not seeing that this Ubuntu is not anymore sustainable. It is not sustainable because the world has evolved. The world has evolved to mean that there is inflation. We just don't have the same resources that our parents had. We are now living in different worlds. Some of us are living in other countries where, in as much as we have a social net provided by the government, but we face other challenges being immigrants. You live in a country where you're not so sure how long you'll be allowed to stay. In as much as you are part of the country, you're now a citizen, but the constant racism and just the right-wing movement that is increasing globally, you can't help but sleep with one eye open because you never know when it will be your time to leave, or your property will be taken away from you, or even your life. So it's just a different thing. So you just to kind of prepare yourself for such things happening, you want to build your own personal safety net. But you can't do it when all your funds are flowing backwards and not forwards. That is the problem. The pressure from the families, pressure from parents, especially parents who just don't understand. It can be an ongoing conversation. It's just something you have to always keep. And let's just say some parents do not respect boundaries. You tell them no today, 2 weeks later they're back. It's just like it's an unending burden to a point where you get to a breaking point. We see people just saying, hey, I'm done. I've cut off my family. I cannot take it anymore. Because it's like nobody cares. Nobody cares about your mental health. Where are you and how are you doing? Do you have your own issues to deal with? Do you have your own problems to deal with? What is going through your head right now? How can we help you? Can we talk about, to a point where anytime you see their numbers on your phone, someone calling you, already you enter into this panic mode because you're just like, oh, what is it now this time? There's never a simple hello. I wanted to find out how you're doing. How is your family? No, it's just this trauma dumping on you because of all these people around. And the worst thing is, it is never them themselves who need the money. or who need the assistance, it is people who they're giving this to. So it's like you become a donor. You're a donor. Without your permission, they gather people around them who they expect you to help them take care of. And they never asked you in the first place if they could even help this. You cannot help someone if you yourself are being helped. It doesn't work like that. I just wish that, and I hope that this is a conversation that we will be able to have. And it's something that even as you talk to friends, some of your friends would say, oh, me, I wish if my parents were alive, I would give them the world. It's something you also see online, people talking about that. That's just gaslighting. I don't like such conversations. Or your parents has hypertension, high blood pressure. Please do not talk to them. Please just ignore. So you'd rather I suffer instead of them being told the truth. How can we expect people to always just be sacrificing their mental well-being, their physical well-being, their financial well-being, and those of their dependents? We also have our own dependents who will take care of us in this world that we are in now, the children that we are raising. I do not expect my children to assist me. They will probably ask me, what do you mean? They don't know. Because themselves, they've been born in a world where they're going to struggle to actually make ends meet. Because we don't have an inheritance to give them. So you can't expect them to give you anything. And it's something that it is high time that parents, family, let people just live within their means. You are pushing people to enter into really, really bad deals, trying to raise funds. It's just impossible. I wish we learn and listen. Let's learn and listen. Let's learn and listen, learn together, talk to each other, communicate. But if it comes to a point where they don't understand, just block them. Block them. Just put your mental health first. Put your mental health first. Take care of yourself first. Put on your oxygen mask first. You cannot pour out of an empty cup. Fill your cup first.